Okay, all right, so hello, welcome back everybody. This is Sandra here from Plant Rich Sandra. Thank you for joining me again. I really appreciate your time. I'm so excited tonight. I am still here with my amazing friend Amy and her husband Tim, who have been so patient. And Amy and I actually have recorded a couple episodes that you may have already seen. By now they will be uploaded when you see this. And so I just really appreciate Amy. And tonight I have two very special guests with me here in Amy's lovely home. I have my friends Adele and Jan, who are also Nutritarians, and they live here in the Maryland area, and so we had this unique opportunity to get together, and so I asked them if we could all sit down and talk and just share our Nutritarian ideas with each other. And so that's what we're going to do tonight. And so this is new for me to interview two people at the same time. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask a question, and then Jan will answer, and then Adele will answer. And then on the next question, Adele will go first, and then Jan will go first. And anytime Amy wants to pipe in, she's welcome to interject and say anything also. So this is a very spontaneous interview here. Okay, so my first question is, could you share with us a little background of how you became a Nutritarian? Was there an aha moment? What happened to cause you to turn to this whole food plant-based lifestyle?
Yeah, thanks. Mine was like a very long aha moment. It lasted for like 30 years, I guess. So for around more than 30 years ago, I lost a lot of weight. I was obese, and that was on a modified fast, and lost the weight, kept most of it off for all those years, for more than 30 years, and just gradually found my way to Nutritarian lifestyle. So, and that's what works. Deprivation did not work for me, you know, trying to limit things, it just didn't work. This is a lifestyle that I can stay with for the rest of my life.
Okay,
Good. For me, I had seen Dr. Furman on the Dr. Oz show. That's when I first saw him, and I was intrigued. And he was on my radar for a little while, but I never participated in his eating. And then my dad got sick, really sick. He was in hospice. He had diabetes, congestive heart failure. He had several health issues that scared me. So watching him go through that was hard. So then Dr. Furman popped in my head, and I was like, oh, I think that would work. So I researched Dr. Furman online. I found Alicia's group, and I saw Alicia's story, which her story is similar to mine because she had a history of eating disorders. So that really resonated with me. And then the very next day, my life changed, and I was a Nutritarian. So.
Wow.
and for those that don't know, Alicia is the administrator of the group eattolivedaily.com. You can go to that website, and if you would like to get more information about that, eattolivedaily.com. We do have a private Facebook group that you're more than welcome to join, and we all are very supportive of each other. We share quite a bit. It's an accountability group, so that's something, you know, that you're more than welcome to consider joining with us. All right, so Adele, when you were in the beginning stages, were there any things that you felt were super hard in the beginning that you struggled mightily with?
Well, initially, what I struggled with was the food was so different than what I was so used to. So I went to the grocery store, and I'm like, what's nutritional yeast? And quinoa? Is that how you say it? I don't know. What's red? What all the different... At first, it was just being exposed to the different foods, and I didn't know how to cook them. I didn't know how to eat them.
And you were overwhelmed.
Yeah, so that was a lot. But I just got through getting some recipes down, and then it worked out. I got through it. So
Gradually.
yeah.
Okay.
And mine was gradually over many years. I stopped eating meat probably more than 15 years ago, I think, and then stopped eating dairy maybe 13 years ago. So, and I wasn't Nutritarian then, just gradually I found my way to the Nutritarians. So I think just the going gradually like that, I don't remember anything that was really jarring. I think just the amount of vegetables that we eat on a Nutritarian style, it was different. Yeah.
Mhm. And that can be a little overwhelming when you think a pound of raw
Right.
and a pound of cooked.
Yes.
You know, seems overwhelming, and that, and in the beginning, and he wants you to work up to that, but that can be pretty daunting
Yes,
in the
yes.
beginning. Yes. What after you got going in this plan, what was very surprisingly easy that you were like, that's not even a problem for me. I mean, I thought it was going to be a problem, but it's not a problem for me. Was there anything you remember that actually was quite easy and it surprised you?
Well, I think after I got a pretty good nutritional base, and after you eat enough, long enough, it doesn't even take that long, really. Maybe your first 6 weeks. After you get to that point, your body, or at least mine did, it settled down. So it didn't. I wasn't craving the things that I used to like to eat. So it was pretty easy then. But to stay that way, I have to stay with the, high greens, high amount of greens, high amount of vegetables, and really pay attention to that. Or otherwise, I think my body would go back.
So if you keep your body flooded with the nutrients, you feel like that satisfies you enough, as they say, your minimums, then you don't crave.
You don't crave. So then it becomes easy. And I know that's hard for people to understand when they're just listening to it, but you have to trust the process, and it does happen. Yeah.
All right, so what was easiest when I first started?
And it surprised you.
It surprised me. Okay. I'd have to say that the food tasted good. Like initially, I was scared that it wasn't going to taste good, but then I'm like, yeah, this is tasting really good. It must be because I need it and my body likes it. So I was surprised by that.
Was it like the first week, the first 2 weeks that you cleared your palate and that you started noticing that the food tasted good without the salt and without the butter and?
Well, for me, I never added salt to my food.
Oh, okay.
I never. I mean, if I went out to eat, of course they have salt on their food, but I never added salt to my food. I didn't even have it at the house. I don't, unless I was cooking pasta and I was trying to cook it in the pot. So that wasn't a big change, but and then the salt, yeah, so I didn't, that was, I guess it did do it pretty quickly, because when I first started, I was trying to follow everything exactly. That changed later on, but so initially getting into eating all that food, it was, yeah, I needed it and I liked it, and that made it easy, so.
I remember just before school was out this year, I was cleaning out my classroom, and I found a can that I had bought at Winn-Dixie of pigeon peas, and they weren't salt-free. They were just a can of pigeon peas, and I bought them just to show my students, this is Caribbean beans that they grow, and here you can't get them fresh, but you can get them canned and frozen and dried and stuff. And I was hungry that day. I was not intending to still be in my classroom at noon that day. I thought I'd be home by 10, and I didn't have anything to eat. And I thought, let me just go ahead and open these can of beans and eat them. Well, they were not salt-free. They had salt. And I literally felt like an old cow licking a salt lick. I mean, it was so much salt, and I'm not used to that. I never have salt anymore. And so it was very surprising how it was so salty that it was unpleasant to me after all that time. And I used to be a salt. So that was very surprising to me. Okay, so the next question is, did you think, now looking back, that you jumped into this, like, right, 100% day one? Or do you feel like you did tiptoe into this and do incremental? And I think you kind of already said you were more incremental.
Yeah. Yes. Definitely, I was incremental over time. When I joined in November, this group in November, I became very, very focused and paid attention to a couple of very basic rules: no snacking and stopping eating at around 6 p.m. So those two things have really, I jumped into those, but it was a more gradual leaning in, I guess, over the years, over a lot of years. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, for me, when I decided to become nutritarian, I didn't have the group yet, so I didn't really know what I was doing, and I thought I was doing good. I would just make a sandwich and fill it with vegetables.
Right, you
That's all I
thought you
did.
were doing it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I didn't know anything about Ezekiel bread or anything like that. I just whole wheat. Okay, let's eat the sandwich.
We're
And
so
I needed
clueless,
it.
weren't we?
Right.
We were so clueless when we look back now. I just laugh my head off at some of the stuff I used to do. Yes.
But to me, that seemed good. And then I joined the group, and then I did the 6 weeks was great, the detox and everything, and then, life happens, and I've struggled with consistency. But I'm still nutritarian, and I'm less than I was when I started, and I will forever be nutritarian. So.
Right, right,
Yes.
exactly. So, do you have a favorite vegetable that you like in raw form, or even cooked?
I'd have to say there isn't a vegetable that I don't like now.
I do. I'd say I do. Like, there's some I don't like.
My least favorite would be celery, but I can have it in cooked. But I do prefer like broccoli, having that in my salad. I like peppers, and that's my go-to in my salad is the broccoli and the peppers. Yeah.
I'm with you. I don't have a vegetable that I don't like. That I haven't found one yet. I think peppers are probably one of my favorites, and I have
Green
a little,
or the other three?
red.
Yeah.
I love red.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love red pepper, and I have a little garden, a little vegetable garden. So tomatoes are another favorite, and squash. I just got my first squash out of the garden.
Yellow
so
or
yellow?
Yellow
Yeah,
squash.
yeah.
Cool. Okay. Do you have a favorite fruit?
Bananas.
Bananas,
Bananas.
yeah.
So I just read, and I forgot where I saw this, but someone said it's probably good if you're getting close to your weight, to where you want to be.
Please don't say this.
Okay.
Don't say this, Jan. Don't do it.
I know. I'm not going to make you happy, but it made a big difference.
Okay.
I limited my bananas, and it's made a big difference. So bananas are one of those foods that I just love, and I've limited them just to the frozen bananas that I use in my nice cream, and that works. So Sorry,
Okay.
Sandra.
That's okay. Yeah, I did have to stop buying fresh.
Yes.
I did, because I would put the natural peanut butter on, and I'd
Yeah.
go to town.
Yeah.
So now I buy them, but
Yeah.
I immediately get them home and stick them in the freezer and
Yes.
use them for my...
Yes.
I don't make the nice cream, I just make the smoothie with a cup of plant milk.
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Or the
yeah.
5-fruit sorbet with no plant milk, just
Right.
the 5 fruits in there.
Right.
And also, Amy, when it hits 33 minutes, it's going to shut down on me. So let me know when we get close to 30 minutes, okay? What's it saying? Can't read it.
I need my glasses.
Oh, let me hold. Again, this is very unprofessional, so bear with us, y'all, because I.
Okay, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, because it'll just
couldn't- the
it'll shut down and say you've done enough.
How long now?
And when it hits 33, it'll shut down.
You're fine.
So when we get to 30, and then we'll do a part 2 if we need to.
Yeah, I think
Is
you're
it-
good.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, and what's your favorite fruit?
I really like the berries, the blueberries. I put
yeah.
them in my nice cream, and but as far as my salad, I really like the small oranges. That really
Yeah.
that gets
yeah.
it gets the salad
It
down.
does, doesn't it? The little mandarin oranges and the salad is so refreshing.
It
It
is.
really is.
Oh, nice. I haven't had those in a long time.
Actually, you just made me think of a different question I want to add. Do you have a favorite nut? Let me ask you this first. Do you have because like when you said the salad, the Mediterranean pine nuts alone are just odd to me when you just eat them. But when you put them on a salad, they're like
Yeah.
amazing,
Yeah.
you know? So do you have a favorite nut, like walnuts or?
I like nuts, but I have a nut allergy
that's right, you have a
at
nut
the
allergy.
home, so I don't engage in them at home or whatnot. But I do. The seeds I really like are the pumpkin seeds, the hemp seeds. I put those on,
Yeah.
and then there's not a nut I don't like. I don't think, although I do like walnuts particularly and cashews.
Yes. Cashews. Yeah.
What is it about cashews?
I don't know. I have to be careful with those too.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I never cared for walnuts, But now I love them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really do. I always thought pecans were it. They were the bomb.
Mm-hmm.
But now there's something about a walnut,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And the nut I don't care for, the one I can't stand really is hazelnut. I don't like hazelnuts. And I'm not a fan of Brazil nuts raw. I'll eat them because I know we need some Brazil
Yeah.
nuts, but I'm just not a huge fan of them, you
Yeah.
know? So,
Yeah.
okay. All right, so is there a favorite prepared Nutritarian dish that you just love to make, your go-to?
Nutritarian pizza. Yeah. That's what I love.
Do you do like the red lentil base like Peggy does?
I have done that, but most of the time I use one of the whole grain, sprouted grain
Okay.
tortillas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, whole grain, sprouted whole grain tortilla, and then just put the tomato sauce and all kinds of vegetables and a little yeast,
The nutritional yeast, unfortified nutritional yeast, yeah.
Yeah. For me, mine is the white bean chili from the Plant Pure Nation.
Okay.
That's really good. It's looks complicated, but it's delicious, and it's pretty easy for me to make now. I don't really have to look at the recipe. But for me, my easiest is just throwing vegetables in a pot and adding spices, and that's
That's
what
the
I like.
go-to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my go-to as well.
Yeah.
But my favorite prepared dish is that red lentil, the carrot and red lentil soup. I could eat that every day. Okay, so is there anything that you had never tried before that now you have tried because you've become a Nutritarian that now has been new for you?
Okay. Well, I had tried Brussels sprouts before, but I didn't like them. Like, I don't know if I didn't cook them right, or it was one of those things they made me gag. But recently I've had them and I love them, which I never thought I would. I mean, I just said I'm gonna try them. I'm gonna try them, and I love them. So,
That's great.
yeah,
Roasted?
roasted. Yeah.
I can't think of anything that I didn't like. I think I'm okay with most of the things. So I don't think I picked up anything along the way. Maybe beets. Beets is one thing I didn't eat a lot of. I eat them more now.
Well, Carol mentioned rainbow beets to me.
Yeah,
And I looked them up, and so they're neat. I mean, I don't know if we could get them down here.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can get them in Central Florida.
Right.
But that seemed kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, and I love the golden beets.
Yes.
So, okay, so do you have a current challenge, a specific goal that you're working on right now? Anything anything?
A non-scale challenge is to two things, and I've talked about this before. No snacking and not eating at night. I think those are the two, and I'm continuing on those because those things are working for me. So I'll just continue those.
So does that even include like herbal tea at night? Like nothing?
I usually just don't have anything. If water, if I need anything, and it's surprising what it has done. It's made me so relaxed in the evenings. I know I've talked about that a little bit. It just makes you so relaxed. You don't have to think about what else can I have? What else do I have in the house? What else? You're looking for something. It just takes all of that away. It's just your hard and fast rule. You don't eat after you have finished your dinner. And it's really, I just love it. I feel so relaxed, and your body relaxes with it. Do you find
So
that?
is it like with the bright line eating idea?
Yes.
Is that where you got that just
Yes.
I'm done and I'm
Yeah.
not going to cross that bright line? I'm
And you
done with
don't.
that
And I
one.
know it sounds, easy. It's some nights it's a little harder, but most times it's like, oh no, that's right. You just don't eat after your dinner, and it works. So
That's good. For me, I struggle with consistency of staying on plan. So right now I'm working on healthy habits that are surrounded with not eating after dinner. Instead of watching TV, I go and take my bath, and I have taken up meditation, which is helping me a lot. And so those, just keeping consistent with healthy habits is going to help the process along.
So like replacing the stressful, like let me get in the kitchen and you're replacing it with physically with something new.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, and what about exercising?
Okay. When I started, I didn't exercise for the first 6 months, and I had lost like 30 pounds without any of that. And I had started doing some yoga, and that was good. I don't do it as much now with the kids being home. There's my excuse, but but it's something I am doing the meditation, and that's I feel like that's taking over my exercise.
Were you doing self-taught yoga or were you trying to go somewhere?
I was going to do a yoga program, and that particular day, I was so excited I was going to go, and everything happened. Like my daughter was sick, and whatever's happened, I had to stay home, and I had my yoga mat, and I was really excited, and I ended up going on to YouTube and watching can't say her name, Adrian's yoga, and I that was easy for me. She's easy to follow, and so I never actually ended up going to the classes. I just started doing the ones at home.
YouTube's amazing.
Yeah, it is, yeah. I always exercised, I always walked, did weights and, a variety of things. And then when I started on this, I eased up on the exercise a little bit when I first started in November. And then, but came back to Pilates, walking, and most recently foam rolling, thanks to Kimberly.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a new. I haven't gotten into that yet, but the foam roll, I want to check that out.
It's amazing. It is just amazing. So that's my new thing. So
I wonder if that would help my neck because I've got so much pressure up here. Okay, so my last question, and then my final will be if there's anything you want to say, any final words, is can you name one or two things that have been major improvements? Like for me, it was my migraines went away, and I never feel bloated anymore. I'm never thirsty because I don't eat salt, so I'm not worried about my ankles and feet and my hands being bloated or anything. And I used to get Charlie horses like my dad. I haven't had a Charlie horse in years in my legs. And so, they're just, those types of things were amazing, especially the migraines. Not even to mention, of course, the weight loss and that kind of thing.
Right.
So are there a couple of things that just really turned around? Oh, and my blood pressure and my cholesterol, dropped. No more inexplainable heart palpitations.
okay.
So, anything?
For me, my day one of being Nutritarian, I had what I called my sensitive legs, and I don't know what the technical term is for that, but I had a lot of pain, a lot of joint pain. By the end of the day, I'm going up the stairs one at a time. My kids would say I had my old lady walk. I mean, it was painful, and they couldn't sit on my lap because I would be screaming, or yelling out, "Ouch!" So that was painful, and I'll never forget on day 32, my daughter sat on my lap, and we're chatting and playing around, and she's like, "Mom, your legs," and I'm like, "What? And what about them?" And she's like, "No more ouchies." That was pretty amazing. But outside of that, I've also I was pre-diabetic when I started, and I'm no longer pre-diabetic. I had exercise-induced asthma, even though I didn't really exercise, but I had it. I was diagnosed with that at a young age. And when I was exercising on the treadmill, I discovered that I no longer have exercise-induced asthma. That's like, so, and then my daughter said, my kids have asthma, and she said that when I found out I didn't have asthma anymore, and she has problems with it, she said that she wants to become a Nutritarian because she doesn't want to have asthma.
Oh,
That's
So
awesome.
sweet. Yeah. For me, thankfully I didn't have any health problems, but one thing I do notice is that I was getting a little stiff, maybe when I sat down for a little while. Nothing terrible, but I just, wow, what's that about? And that's all gone. So, it was very minor, but it's all gone. And I think just the ease, you can move so much nicer in the world. It's easy to find clothes, and the nice things. So, and you just feel so much better, brighter, more energetic. I think those are beautiful things.
In 2008, we were in Europe, and we were having to walk we were in London, and we were trying to walk to Buckingham Palace. I was pulling up the rear of the group, and my group is leaving me, and I'm like, guys, I've got to sit down for just a minute. My right leg had gone to sleep from sciatica, and I said, can you just let me sit down for a minute? And I sat down on a stoop, somebody's steps, and I was like, wake up, trying to get the feeling back in my right leg until I could finally get up and walk again and feel my right leg. And it was embarrassing. I held up the group, and and now I never have sciatica anymore, and now I'm like the leader of the pack.
Wow.
And it feels good to be the oldest of the group and ahead of everybody. So that is such an empowering feeling. So do y'all have anything y'all want to add? How am I doing on time? 4 minutes. Okay. Y'all have anything you want to add?
Okay. Okay, I guess my takeaway from Nutritarian is some people can think that I can never do that, or that's just too extreme, or that's just too much. But I think being Nutritarian, once you've gone through the surprising changes, because it's not just a diet, the things that you experience are more than anything you're going to get from restricting any type of calories. The Nutritarian is going to cure your whole body. And that's something that that you just can't get from anything else, and it's life changing, and it's life promoting, and it's the way to eat to live.
Yeah, very good. That's great. Very similar things for me too. The health aspect is number one. My goal is to not be on medications for the rest of my life. And my goal, I just heard Dr. Furman talk about this, is he feels like we can, get easily to, in our upper 90s, and maybe even over 100, and live very well that whole time. He said your body might start to get a little tired the last 6 months, and that's the way I'd like to go out. Just a little tired the last 6 months of my life.
Yeah, there we go.
Sounded good. Yeah.
So thank you, everybody, for watching today. It just means a lot to me, and I appreciate you being here. And so if you got anything out of this, please click like. I never know where to point. Like, and click subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and also share if you know of anybody who might benefit from this. Once again, thank you, Amy, for recording this. You are a perfect angel. And thank you, Adele, and thank you, Jan. And I'm so excited to meet you guys. It just makes us all more real. And we just appreciate it so much. And thank you again, and everybody have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.